Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. So in this video I am going to take a look at how the blue fusions do in the latest legendary Goku GT event, and we're going to take a look at how they do at 55%, because ideally most people will probably only have a free dupe or a dupe free, whatever you want to call it. Maybe they'll have one dupe or two. Very few people are going to have them max link leveled and all four dupes and best equipment and everything. Or maybe they will. Maybe I'm an outsider. But we'll take a look at how they do in this new event at 55%. I do think that they'll do okay. I don't think they'll be bad. I don't think their damage will be good for sure. I don't think they're going to do badly or anything like that. I do think their defense will struggle quite a bit at 55%, but I think right off the bat, just before we start the video, I'm going to put them in main rotation. But if you are taking the LR cards and you have them at 55%, please, your best bet is to take them and float them. Floating them is going to make them way better defensively. It's going to make them stack probably just as fast. They gain 55%, they gain 50% evasion. They gain the ability to fire off a secondary attack, and they just overall are better. So in the later stages, I would definitely put them in the third slot. I'd give them that evasion. Once you get to the tech full power Goku, you're relying on items anyway, and hoping for their damage, so you can move them back into main rotation. But for the strength grade ape and for the int Goku, I would definitely put them into the off rotation, and then probably float them back on and just spam as many items as possible to get them through the tech full power stage. But yeah, beyond that, we can just take a look at how they do. Obviously in base form, they mainly just stack attack. They don't really stack defense or anything like that. We're going to have them with some pretty good support and link partners as well. We're going to run the strength a la Gogeta with the AGL transforming Gogeta. We're also going to put the tech Vegito. He's going to sit alongside the physical blue EZA Vegito. And overall, they're going to be really solid pairings. I think the team will be good damage-wise. They have good pacing. But I do think, I definitely think they will struggle defensively. But if you stick them in the third slot, they're going to be okay. So it's not really anything that I would worry about too much. And if you have a couple dupes in them, they're going to be more than fine. Their damage is going to be incredibly high, so it's going to make up somewhat for their defensive issues. Because those final couple stages, like, the thing is if you clear the stages really fast, you can get away with only taking one or two super attacks a stage. Whereas if you take forever to do the stage, unless your units stack, you eventually gonna take like a whole bunch of super attacks. And taking a whole bunch of super attacks obviously just increases your chance in failing. Overall, it gives you more damage that you have to recover. And having stacking units, as you saw probably in my previous legendary Goku event video, does help you heal that up. But unless your whole team is stacking, or you have a lot of heals, or you have at least 2 stackers per rotation, that damage is going to be super difficult to heal up on a regular basis. And especially if you get unlucky with same type orbs, it's going to be even more difficult to heal up in those situations. So we can see the Vegito here. His defense looks really low, but that is because he took a super attack, and his defense has been lowered because of it. So that is just one thing to keep in mind. It shouldn't actually be that low. But we're going to let them stack it up. Take a look at how they do, and then obviously remember that they do stack attack and defense on their super attacks as well. So even though they're also obviously increasing their passive, they do continue to stack on their super attacks, at least for one turn. So what that means is if they max out at 130k, they're realistically maxing out at a little bit higher than that. They're maxing out at about 156ish, 150ish, because they get that 20% extra attack and defense when they actually fire their attacks. Vegito himself is slightly better defensively because he's guaranteed that second super attack, and that's really going to help him out defensively, because obviously he then stacks that further. But beyond that, really, we'll see. Like I say, they're not going to be bad. They're going to be great damage-wise. They're just going to be a little bit low defensively. Not any more than any other normal units. But yeah, I think compared to some of the big guns for this kind of event, maybe some of the newer cards, they will be a little bit behind that curve at 55%. But if you've got them Rambo'd or anything like that, they're going to be great. So don't worry about it too much. And offensively, they're going to give you that quick burst, especially Gogeta, because he's super effective against all types. He's going to give you that quick burst that's really going to allow you to kind of push through the stage before you can take an immense amount of damage. And that's obviously very, very good, because it's going to just enable you to save your items for later and not spend 58 minutes inside the stage like some people have to, because you're stacking all the time. So yeah, it's definitely a different kind of strategy, these kind of like quick run, burst run things. But there's nothing wrong with it either. They're just different ways to approach the event. They just allow you to obviously take things with different kinds of units. Burst strategies generally require all the units to have high damage though. It's like very different to a tankier team build, where you can rely on like 2 units to do the damage. This is kind of like every unit just has to do mega insane damage, and then eventually you'll get there. So yeah, definitely quite interesting. But for the most part, we'll have the physical Vegito here. He will be perfectly fine with his reduction on normal attacks. He shouldn't take too much damage. He's obviously going to be able to super as well before he takes any hits. And then we'll have the Tech Vegito who's got type advantage. So I can't see this turn going too badly overall. They're starting to stack their attack and defense as well quite decently. They're doing a decent job of that. So all in all, going pretty well. The last thing is obviously these double super attacks by Vegito are really going to help us kind of chunk down this Goku here, who can be relatively annoying. He's not the, I want to say he's not the nicest Goku, the SS2 one. He can be quite irritant. So yeah, definitely one you want to get rid of quite soon. But as we work our way through the Goku here, I can just note obviously they're doing quite well so far. Obviously, one of the things you want to keep in mind is you want to keep their active skill, obviously just to activate their 50% evasion chance at certain points. But other than that, they're doing really well. They do have a lot of support here. Obviously, we've got Android 17 and we've got Topo floating around here giving them support. But either way, they're still doing a very fine job and a very good job at dealing out a lot of damage, especially alongside their TUR counterparts. They really are doing quite well so far. So I think, maybe it'll be difficult later on for sure. I have no doubt about that, especially the int area. I think that'll be quite a test for the Tech Vegito. But I think, due to their damage, it's really still quite impressive how well they're doing. So yeah, for me, I don't have any complaints really about the units. I don't have any issues with how they're doing. I think everything's going quite well. As we move on to SS3 Goku, who is just before the Ape Goku, so we're about halfway through the phases. Obviously, one thing we need to keep in mind is that for most of these units at 55%, they are missing a large chunk of their defense. We're talking roughly 3,000 defense, which in most cases can be like 33%. It's like a 33% upgrade for these units, which is quite a lot when you consider how much they stack, how much they gain per turn, the way their super attacks will be multiplicative, all those sort of things. So, if you're looking at a unit that's sitting at like 112,000, that unit could be sitting at well over 160, 170-ish range with full defense. after supering and stuff like that. Definitely is a big difference and a big uh, like chunk of defense. Throw in their 50% evasion, throw in the extra damage they would do with a whole bunch of dupes, throw in the hidden potential system additions, the amount of additionals you could give them, or crits you could give Vegito, and just, overall they just become obviously way better, as every card does with dupes. But defensively, offensively, they'll be a lot better. So they'll handle the events a lot better, they'll perform a lot better, they won't have as many hang-ups, but yeah. We're still, as you can see, we're doing some really great damage. We're really doing some really good damage here. I mean, we're blazing through the stages. We're not having any problems with getting the bosses down. It's just obviously taking hits can be quite the problem. But either way, it's still obviously a very good performance. Very happy with how they're doing. Got no issues. And yeah, I think as floaters, they definitely are very solid options for the team. I think as anything else, probably not really. I wouldn't main rotation them. I think on the final trump card team, there's a better main rotation you can make. But I would definitely float them. Definitely think they're very, very good floaters. I think they are good sources of damage, especially if you're going for a tankier main rotation. And with their 50% dodge in that third slot, they just overall are really reliable and solid. So yeah, it's, quite impressed. Quite impressed. But yeah, we'll obviously now tackle the big monkey, which is going to be quite a challenge because he's got type advantage on a couple of our units. But also just, he is quite a tough opponent. He can dish out a lot of damage. He's quite resilient. He's just a really tough damage dealer, which is always the best thing to face with glass-ketted teams. I mean, you look here, we've taken him down, 1 health bar. He's resilient. He doesn't take a lot of damage. He dishes out some good damage. He really slows your momentum on the stage. He can really be quite damning in terms of slowing your momentum and all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely one of the harder sections of the fight. I actually genuinely find him a little bit harder than the int SS4 Goku. I think it's him and then the tech full power Goku that are the problems for me. At least personally from what I've experienced. But yeah, one last thing, obviously, is the AGL Gogeta does have advantage here, which is obviously very good. This AGL Vegeta does a tremendous amount of damage because of his guaranteed crits. He really can chunk down the Great Ape quite rapidly. So, I mean, this team really chunks down the Great Ape quite rapidly. I mean, you look at how much damage we're doing. He's already at half health. It's a very good damage-based lineup. It's just unfortunate that at 55%, even at the 69%, with the bottom right-hand path, you'd have more crits, more additionals for Gogeta, you'd have more crits for Vegito. Their defense would be higher and their damage would be higher. And just at that one dupe, you probably would be sailing a lot smoother. But yeah, we unfortunately we are going to activate the 50% dodge here. We're going to test how much damage he takes from a normal. We kind of just want to take a look and see how much damage he takes from a normal, how much might he take from a super without an item. I think it'll be a good indication for us. I think it'll be a nice way to see. So he's sitting at 97k, which is not a lot. Obviously, after he supers, he's going to be sitting at a lot more. Probably sitting at 120,000 or so. So yeah, after he does his double super, he will be sitting at a lot more. So, we shouldn't have too many issues there. But yeah, we'll just have to take a look. He's doing some good damage. So we'll see how he goes. If he gets his dodges off, that'll be really good. Otherwise, we'll just have to restart, get back here, and then just take a little bit more of a look at them a little bit later on. So triple supers, by the way, really good. You might kill him actually beforehand. Almost, very close. Gets the dodge, and now you need the dodge. And so triple supers, he took 350k. That's not too bad. We've obviously reset, come back. So we are going to obviously continue to take a look at them, get them through to the int SS4 Goku or the full power tech SS4 Goku, and just see how far they can get. But yeah, obviously we want to kind of recheck how much damage they take from this great ape stage. But that was, as you could see, quite a lot of damage. But 350k is not that bad. I know he triple supered and everything like that, but we would have survived had we not taken 180,000 on the physical Vegeta. So it just shows you what kind of fine margins you're sitting at in terms of the stage, and how few units can actually tank the full damage of this kind of stage, and just in general how few units can really take the power of this great ape here. But it's a good event. It's good to have a long form event that is this kind of difficulty. It means them making more permanent stacking units and things like that for different categories is a good thing. A lot of people had kind of got over the stacking unit phase of like Dokkan, when they brought out ESBR, and it's just kind of like a good way for Dokkan to change its PvE meta, so to say. Like when they release new ESBR, everyone enjoys powerful units right off the bat, units that drop 3-4 million off the bat and have 160-ish odd defense, and have utility, and then they greatly stack for one turn, and they're really, really good for SBR. They're really good for those 3-4 turn events. They really kick ass, and they're really strong. And then, because of that, and because the LGE had kind of aged, those units were really good in LGE. And everyone was like, oh, well, I don't really care that Tech Trunks can stack to 800k damage defense and do 5 million attack stats by turn 20, because it doesn't matter. But now, with this event coming out and being quite difficult, they're making a greatly stacking Martian Vegeta, or a greatly stacking or permanently stacking Trunks, or a permanently stacking Goku, or whatever fits the meta, because that unit now has a use. That unit can be used on certain categories to help flesh out attempts at this boss, to help teams out, to give different team building options. So yeah, it's always good when they add these kind of events, because it allows them to build units that focus around the event, and it can still be useful in other events. Like, you can still use, for example, Tech Trunks in other events, but it's nice when they make units that are obviously orientated towards this kind of content. So that just means that overall it gives us more options as players of the game, and allows us to have more extended character options, and just extends the game's lifespan, and also just extends the suite of characters that people will want in the game, which is obviously good for them profit wise, but it's also nice for us, because now you can get hype about a Goku, Angel, and Vegeta that stacks indefinitely, for example, or something silly like that. It's really just interesting that they can kind of go these different directions in terms of design and everything. So yeah, definitely something I would say you should consider. And just really, really good. But so we are at int Goku. We're gonna see how the tech unit tanks. Obviously we have an item active, but it's gonna be good to see how he tanks. If he tanks well with an item, I think that's good enough at 55%. I think if we're taking like you know, 20-ish, 30-ish K per hit, I think that's actually very good. Obviously, super attack's gonna hurt, and that's undeniable, but taking 20-30K per hit is more than enough on a 55% version of Vegito. Because, you know, like, what can you do? It's one of the hardest hitting int characters in the game. Ugh. We do have an item active. Yeah, that's not bad. 180k as a fully built up Vegito. Yeah, an item active, and he had double supered before, but that's not bad. Okay, he's got support and everything, but hey, that's genuinely really good. I didn't expect that to be as good by Vegito, even with an item active. So yeah, I'm actually very impressed by that. So taking a super attack for 180k, the fact that that didn't kill him or do like over 250k damage, I think that's a win. I think that's a good plus in the 55% column. Now you stick them in the final slot, and they got 50% evasion, and you may not even get hit by that. And that's where I think they thrive. So yeah, I think so far, my original idea that you stick them in the third slot is still the way to go. I think obviously you can build a tankier final trump card team. That way you can provide yourself with multiple tanks, but you can still have the benefit of their damage. You can still have the benefit of their active skills, and you can still, you can save them almost, kind of, for the final stage. And then just hope that they can burst down the boss, which I think is a good way to go about it. So yeah, definitely, I'm impressed so far. I think they've done really well. I know a lot of people might not be impressed by them. They're probably saying, oh man, that's not great. But at 55%, there are very few units that will do this consistently, this consistent level of damage alongside such good defense. Like, not fantastic defense, but really solid defensively. And we're going to test that now with the dodging. We're going to see how that goes dodging wise, if he can hold out and everything. But yeah, I'm super impressed. Really quite happy with how well that these units have done in terms of tanking. I think for me, that's like, we're going to need to dodge this, otherwise we're dead. But yeah. So here we go. We're going to super again. Just kind of see how much damage he does. Okay, we didn't do a lot of damage. We won't be doing a lot of damage with Vegito, that's for sure. But we'll definitely see how well he tanks here. So we did get lucky and got triple supers. So 28,000. 28,000 is not bad. Not bad at all. So I think Vegito is definitely past the UI Goku. Not the UI Goku, sorry. The int SS4 Goku portion of this event, I think at 55% he's done really, really well. So yeah, I would be happy to take him through. Obviously, the Gogeta doesn't have any type disadvantage from like the third stage or whatever. So he's fine. I mean, if, Tech Vegito is taking 28k, Gogeta will probably take something similar unless he gets an additional super attack, because remember, Gogeta at 55% can't actually fire an additional super attack unless you give him a additional equipment. He can only do crits, I think he can fire an additional super, but yeah, he's not got a high chance. He's not got a high chance at all. So yeah, we'll definitely take a look here. Hopefully we can get through to the tech portion and then just see how we go from there. But, I mean, honestly at this point, okay, we might not beat the event, but I think at this point they've proven that they are, well, incredible damage-wise. I think they've proven just how good they are from a damage point of view. I think they've really shown how reliable they are in terms of damage. I think their defense is held up to the test. Yeah, okay, they're going to take a next level of damage from Tech SS4 if he supers them without an item active or anything like that, but surprise, surprise, most units in the game, especially at 55%, will take a crap ton of damage from SS4 Tech Full Power Goku. It's not surprising to see units take a massive chunk of damage from these units. So I think, you have to curb your expectations. You can't just assume that these units are going to be fantastic because, they are good on other events of 55%. I think you have to say, okay, look, listen, other units at 55% get thrown into the trash by this event. These units are holding their own. Okay, they're not decimating it, but they are holding their own. They're doing very well. When you look here, this is a unit with 40% damage reduction and easy A defensive stats, and he is taking a mega ton of damage. He's gonna die from this, and that's how easy it is to be taken out by this event. There's nothing that does that much damage in the game. That is the highest level of damage that you can take, especially if it's top disadvantage. So yeah, that is going to be it from me. I think overall, I give them a passing grade. I think they definitely can do the event at 55%. I think a dupe will definitely help. Even a single dupe will probably take them from like a B grade to like a B plus, A minus. And I think from there they'll get better. Their damage is really helpful. Their damage is super helpful, especially Gogeta with his type effectiveness. It's really helpful against a multi-type stage event. And I think if you float them third slot, they will do fine. Obviously against the final stage you can't dodge, so hopefully you've saved up items. But if you've saved up items, you can spam items and these guys will deal the damage. They will deal big damage, especially if you've saved the active skills. You can deal out damage, and then yeah, you'll be good. I definitely 100% confirm that you can take these units, and they look very sexy. So there you go. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it from me. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know how you find them in the event. But until then, cheers and bye.